Hey everyone, welcome back to the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. I am still Mark. I still can't talk very well, but we still have stuff to talk about. Ryan is over there. Hi, Ryan.
Hey.
Let's talk about the big one that we can't talk about in detail.
Sure.
Because even after the embargo was up, we don't want to spoil anything about this.
No.
That this would be Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. 9 episodes in season 1. We've been told they already greenlit a season 2 and it may be filming. I don't know. So 9 episodes in season 1 in an unprecedented move for a series of this caliber. Disney gave us access to all 9 episodes.
Yes.
Which is insane. However,
yes, but appreciated.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely appreciated. But I think it is an attempt to stave off some of the arguments about previous Marvel and Star Wars series.
Sure.
And we'll get into that as we talk. Charlie Cox is back as Matt Murdock / Daredevil. All the old players are here. Vincent D'Onofrio is as Wilson Fisk. Deborah Ann Woll is back as Karen Page. Eldon Henson is back as Foggy Nelson. Bernthal makes an appearance. That's not a spoiler.
No.
Wilson Bethel is Bullseye. He's back. Mrs. Fisk is back, and her name eludes me for the moment. Along with some new players. I think the shortest episode is just under 40 minutes.
I think that's right.
And the longest one is pushing an hour.
Yeah, I think it's like 63 or something.
Yeah, it's up there. The Netflix 3-season run of Daredevil consistently ranked among fans' favorites because of what Netflix was allowed to do. This is TVMA.
Oh, yes.
So they did not skimp. We can tell you they did not skimp on violence.
Yeah, particularly the deeper you get into this,
yes,
the more TVMA it becomes.
Absolutely.
And that's plot driven. That's not necessarily something they probably thought about. But the way the plot evolves, that's
right.
Kind of how it goes.
Well, and with our characters.
Yeah.
If there's going to be an encounter, it's going to go TVMA. It just is. So this starts with Matt Murdock kind of quasi-retired.
Yeah. Gives you a reason. Gives you a reason. Yeah.
But he's still working with Foggy Nelson and Karen Page in their thing. They're doing well for them. And then I don't want to call it plot device. Plot development happens.
Yeah.
And he goes full on retirement.
Yeah.
Until he can't. So there's a lot of Matt Murdock as opposed to Daredevil.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I mean, that's kind of the setup. It's a traditional setup. We see this with a lot of superheroes and, whatever, in that there becomes a moment where, can I do this for the rest of my life? Is this something that, am I doing the greater good by continuing to do this, or am I better off, in his case, better off being, a lawyer, and working through that? I mean, it's a valid question. The whole vigilante thing is a whole massive part of this series, and what role should the vigilante play? Should they play any at all? There's quite a bit there, and again, maybe not new ground, but I wouldn't say any of this feels tired.
No, not at all. I would be remiss if I did not point out that this series it canonizes the Hawkeye series.
Yeah.
on Disney
Yes.
Plus.
Yes.
And they explain there are touch points and discussion points that occur
Yeah.
that
There's a lot
explain
of, yeah.
or that do that.
Yeah, there's a few things in this one. I wouldn't say it's obsessed with connecting itself with the universe, but
No.
it definitely makes it very clear that where it kind of exists, and that it does very much exist. And and it does take I don't know how much of the Netflix original series is canon, but at least elements of it, or the general structure is acknowledged as, at least it's acknowledged.
Yep. And also because Hawkeye is touched on, so too is Echo, the
Yes.
series. So be prepared. Again, it is not an overriding concern
No. It's
by
just
any stretch of the
but
imagination. But
but
as
they're
you,
establishing. Yeah.
if you listen, you will hear those connections.
Yeah. There's and there's the Kamala stuff as well.
Yes, and it also does that, which a little bit of a spoiler. There's a tie-in, although there was some, I guess, some controversy when it's not really a spoiler when her dad was cast in the show.
Sure.
But we'll talk about a couple of things. There are a couple of storylines in this that, at least in season one, feel either perfunctory or stunted.
Sure. But it's
Um,
also, I mean, they are doing world building, and so
yes,
it's kind of hard to know if those are teases, those are setups, those are, and I think some of those would have to be.
setups.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, because there's the death of a vigilante
Yes.
with a hint of their replacement
Yes.
in line with the comics, because I did go do some research after. Um, there is a character introduced, developed, and ended. Their arc ends in this series. So it almost feels, I feel like they didn't necessarily need that character to do. I mean, I know what it did for
Yeah.
another character,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think there might have been another way to do it. I don't know. And then, of course, uh, the Ms. Marvel tie-in. All I'm
Mm.
going to say is, if they bring her in the show, I hope they let her play straight with a little bit of an edge. I know she's technically kind of a comedic character, but in this show, it's like, just let her have a little straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
It would be too disjointed if she
Yes.
was. I mean, you get a sense of that with the father,
Right.
not the disjointedness, but there is a little. It's a little lighter. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, it's quite a bit lighter for part of it, and then, but that's only, I would say, a brief flash.
Yeah. But
Which,
then
yeah,
what's
the
funny is
Funko
that
moment.
the plot point at the end of that also did not go anywhere that I recall.
Well, not yet.
No, not yet. Not in this 9 episodes. So again, that's interesting. Um, we'll see if it comes in season 2. Um, there are a lot of outside, I won't say outside, other influences in this. I think, there's a little Dark Knight Returns or Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
I don't know, God, King of New York, maybe. But if you look, you feel influences of heavy, small scale drama
Hmm.
from cinema, and I'll leave it at that. But it's New York, and New York is just this freaking bouillabaisse of history and crime and Law and Order, and all of these other things in real life, much less in the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
So it gets ugly, it gets sticky, it gets kind of you know uplifting, but it's all of those things. It really is kind of New York, which is crazy. Politics plays a large part. and I mean in-universe politics, not out-of-universe politics. I said, and I don't know how you feel necessarily exactly on this. I said this is by an order of magnitude the best Marvel series Disney has put out. By an order of magnitude.
I see. I think WandaVision was more creative. But again, you're probably. Is this good? It's very, very good.
Well, the other reason I say that is because I don't. If you go in to this knowing what Daredevil is and expecting to get what you got in terms of production from Netflix, you really don't have anything to complain about.
No,
you can complain about the fates of characters, but now you're arguing story development and you're pissed because your favorite character or this other person dies or gets wounded or whatever. And so that happens no matter what you watch. But if you're a fan of the original Netflix Daredevil, there's nothing to complain about here.
I wouldn't, I don't know if there's nothing, but I wouldn't think there's not enough to.
Yeah. Well, some idiot is going to find something.
Well,
and do like an 8-video series on YouTube about why.
Yeah.
But that person is an idiot. And they're just, or they're not an idiot, but they just know they can get some traction off of those 8 videos. So, yeah, I was blown away. I watched the first episode and I was like, dang. And then it never, ever let me down after that. Like I said, there's a couple plot points that I wish had gone farther, but they may come back in season 2. Sure. But they weren't deal breakers. They didn't ruin the overall arc of the season.
Yeah.
Which
I agree with that.
That would have been a deal breaker.
I have one storyline that I think went too quickly, which, and actually that's kind of unusual for these series because they usually draw things out.
Yeah.
A bit too much has been the thing. This is, I mean, to your point, this is not front loaded. It's not back loaded. It is loaded pretty much in the entire way.
Yeah. There's no throwaway episodes.
Not really, no. We talk about how this is mostly out of costume, but that doesn't mean that there's not a ton of action and stuff going on around him.
Yes.
So it doesn't feel like, even when he's not Daredevil, there's plenty of stuff going on that it isn't just a drama at that point. It combines a lot of things, and I think it does it really well. It balances a lot of different kind of aspects of which is the original series did as well. We kind of forget because some of the Netflix stuff they just went south pretty quickly towards the end there.
It kind of did.
But some of it was never, some of it was not great. Which there's certain things we probably will never see in this canon. But Daredevil was never the issue for that one. That was always a very strong one, and I think that continues. And I think part of it, the casting's great, and it continues to be great. It's there's always the who knows and who doesn't know elements of this, but it doesn't feel as contrived as sometimes it does in other things. There's surprising moments in this.
Yes.
So it gives you what you think you want, and then it gives you also a few other things, and I think that's kind of the best way to do this. And I wouldn't call it fan service. I would just say that they're doing a story well, and again, you're right. There's probably going to be some people out there who will find something to complain about because that's what they do.
Right.
But we're given access Thursday.
Yep.
And I binged it entirely on Thursday, and I know you binged it entirely on Friday. And
Yep.
I could have split it up. I had time. I could have done it over 2 days, or I could have done it, but I didn't need to. I didn't want to. I wanted to let's get through this series because I'm into it, not because I have to review it.
Right. This hits Disney Plus on March 4th, and they're not. I think it's going to be an episode a week.
I think it's 2 initially, and then
1. Yeah.
1. Yeah. So I mean, and you're right. It is really unusual for them to give us anything more than typically it's been the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, 3 or 4 episodes.
And I think the first 3 episodes in this are pretty strong.
Yeah.
But it's again, like you said, some of the series have started off strong and petered out.
And like I said, that was part of the reason I was thinking that allows critics, honest critics, to diffuse that argument. Oh, sure, the first 3 episodes are good, but a lot of times that but has been accurate.
Yeah, no, it has.
Not in this case.
Yeah, no, and I think that again, it's featuring a lot of interesting characters, so it can do different storylines. It isn't entirely relying on just Matt Murdock or slash Daredevil. There's obviously the Kingpin element that's going on here. Is he or isn't he Kingpin anymore? Is he a reformed man? Is he he's a politician, so he can't be too reformed.
Right.
There's a dig for you.
True.
No, there's some compelling stuff in here, and there are a lot of the questions that I have as a viewer, the film itself asks, or the series asks, and you may not get answers immediately, but eventually, yes, you do in fact get answers, and some of those answers are pretty traumatizing.
Yeah, they are. So it's so good. First 3 episodes are good, but the second 3 episodes are also good.
And then
the last 3 episodes are also good.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be happy with it. But again, that Daredevil Born Again hits Disney Plus on March 4th. This, unfortunately, I don't know if it comes off at a time. They didn't tell us. This discussion will post on the 4th at 7 p.m. Mountain, which is the embargo time for reviews. So it will come down at the first possible instant that it can, and we'll see who agrees with us and who doesn't.
Yeah,
but
and
if you like the first episode,
if whatever you're given, it's a good barometer for what it's going to be. And I do imagine there are going to be some people who maybe aren't familiar with the Netflix series, who I don't know that you have to have watched the Netflix series, but
you should.
You should, and it establishes some of the going forward points. They jump right in, as if those other seasons existed, at least in some form. So you might want to at least get a sense of what the relationships are between the characters. And
oh yeah, definitely.
But and like we said before, do not be shocked. This is TVMA. This is and not for language necessarily. It's
not really.
It's definitely the violence. So depending on your temperament for those things, and it has a couple of moments that are quite shocking.
To be fair, that scene that you like.
That I like
with Kingpin. With Kingpin. Where you told me things are dialed up.
Yeah.
It's more exposed, but I still think I enjoy the car door better.
Yeah.
I think the car door from the original series is still probably it's just a more beautiful scene that just screams Kingpin.
Well, this is, yeah, but it's definitely a whoa.
Yeah, you
Oh,
could say that.
because, I mean, as well, yeah, what's coming, and then you're like, no, actually, I didn't. I,
I did.
I,
I
I
did not
braced
see that coming,
myself.
sir.
Yeah. But no, I think this is a win. Obviously, Marvel's in need of a continued win. Where the verdict is kind of out at the moment for Captain America, box office wise.
Yeah.
It had some pretty dramatic drop. It had actually a pretty massive drop last week. So
Yeah, it did.
they're really in need of something that's undeniably a hit, or so
Yep.
qualities here on this one.
So, yep. So that is Daredevil Born Again. That is our overview of the 9 episode season 1. Enjoy it.
Mm.
I'll rewatch it again as it
Yeah,
comes out when I get back, obviously from my trip. I'll have to catch up, and then I'll do the weekly catch ups. But yeah, it's that good. In my opinion, it's just that good. It makes you remember why Marvel is good or
yeah,
can be good.
yeah.
So that's what I like about it. I will be gone for 3 weeks. Ryan will or will not, depending on what comes out, be posting to the website,
Yeah, yeah.
vsmoviepodcast.com. There will be no new audio episodes uh, between now and the end of March, except for what I managed to get out this weekend before I leave. So, which I
Yeah,
don't
we'll
think is
figure
going to
it
be a
out.
ton.
Yeah.
But check the website. Don't forget to like us, follow us on social media. You know the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. Let us know what you think of what we think, and let us know if we're
Absolutely.
wrong or not. So, or if you
We're
think we're
never
wrong.
wrong.
We're
Never
never
wrong.
wrong. You just don't agree with us. So till I get back and Ryan and I can talk again, don't be afraid to go see a movie in theaters. There's some good ones out there right now. A lot of them
Yeah.
are horror. That's really weird
Mm-hmm.
for February, but take them as they give them because they're still entertaining. Till then, I'm Mark. That's Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you, folks.
And we will talk to y'all later. Bye bye.